Has anybody got the mail yet? Anybody? Nobody? Whatever. I'll do it myself. Okay, people, welcome back to another Foosh review. Today, let's take a look at the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series Archive Wave 4. That consists of the Imperial Hovertank Driver, the Tusken Raider, the Shoretrooper, and, of course, the Death Trooper. I hit the microphone stand. And I am legally obligated to state the following. Hasbro gave or sent this to me for free. Thanks, Hasbro, for giving me these products. Hashtag free product. And to be honest, despite what a lot of people say, I don't really get a lot of free stuff. And I'm okay with that. I really, really am. Because when I look at the stuff, I can just let my thoughts out. I don't have to worry about pissing off a company or going by their guidelines. To hell with all that. I'd rather just play with the toys, move on. I've already done drawn out reviews on all of these when they originally released. They're from a couple of years ago, so if you go back and watch those, the links are in the description. I do drone on a bit. The sculpt on these are pretty nice, and then the paint wash, I really like how they look dirty. It took me a while to find my style of review. But looking at the packages, it's what we're used to with the Archive line. Less cardboard used here, more plastic though. Some graphics on the back, bigger pictures with the bios for each, or in this case, just what each trooper or Tusken does. Dark, ominous gleam. Let's start out with the Tusken Raider. How am I gonna open this without tearing up the card? Be gone, trash around my plastic. And at first I thought they had changed the robe, but it's actually tucked up under the plastic robe, or well, the rubber robe that's underneath. It gets a lot more expansive. It's already dropping little fibers where the ends are frayed a bit. The sleeves are sewn to the thing. If you raise it up, the whole thing comes up. That's okay. That's the outer robe. The inside does a good job of acting like its own robe underneath thing. And if you want to take the cloth completely off, there is sculpt up under there. So it still looks like a Tusken Raider action figure. Got some wraps around the wrists, and then that inner robe comes all the way down to the elbow. But it is pinched in or glued in or around the neck, so it doesn't just come off. You'll have to pull it off. He's very lounge around the house. It's very bathrobe. Got the pants sculpt underneath, nice texture to it, wraps around the lower leg, going down around the feet, bandoliers around the chest, belt with pouches on the front, and then the head sculpt. That wrap matches both the let me have the forearms, lower legs, up at the head. The two pipes sticking out for the eyes, the mouthpiece, the various metal prongs sticking out. And bringing the first one in, there are some differences. Seems the bandoliers on the new one are a little bit darker, or maybe have a darker wash to them, something. Almost the same with the legs too. Well, no, maybe. Yeah, no. Big difference is up at the head. Different brown around the mouth, but the big thing is that they painted the inside. Let's try to bring a light into it. The old one, this lip, I don't know what to call this, lip outer rim, color there goes all the way into the mouth. The new one has black paint, makes it feel a little bit deeper, if not almost cartoony. You can see the cloth comes up under that neck piece, goes all the way to there. But there's a hinge with a ball. Can look up, can shift forward. This tube barrel thing gets in the way. A little bit of tilt, swivel. Shoulder hinges up, rotates around. Single hinge at the elbow comes up to about 90 and then rotates. Rotation at the wrist, side to side for a trigger finger hand. This is an older figure. They just brought everything over. Ball joint at the waist. Not a lot of movement. This becomes a porch roof when you bring it out for the hip at the ball. The leg comes forward, back, out. That's actually better than some newer figures. Swivel at the thigh. Double knee. Where are we going with this? Yeah, sculpt runs into each other. He wouldn't be able to kick his own ass even if he could or get around this back flap. Hinge at the ankle goes back. Ooh, it's dark in there. Goes forward. Forward-facing pin for rocker. For accessories, comes with this rifle. Very nice sculpt to it. It has these rivets and knobs and plates and straps and things. And it is kind of a bear to get the actual trigger finger into the trigger. You can't actually get into a firing position, but you can have him kind of holding it low. Then there are parts for several different Gaddafi or gaffy sticks. Plugs in, and you can have this configuration. You'll always have the acorn on this end with the spike for psh. But this one's for bludgeoning, and then I'm guessing this one's for poking and bludgeoning, and then this one's for massive head trauma bludgeoning. The cool thing about that, you buy several Tuskens and you have different options. You have the rifle, you have the different looks for the sticks. You can put those there. You can take the robes off. There's options to it. Size-wise, the Tusken stands at about 5 7/8 inches tall to the top of the head, which is a pretty good size next to the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series original Stormtrooper and then their Tatooine Luke. I think this was the Landspeeder Luke. Next up, let's look at the Imperial Death Trooper. Is this how y'all want me to do it? Perfect. For some reason, the Death Trooper design never really caught on for me. I don't know what it was. I'm a huge fan of Shadow Troopers and Stormtroopers and all kinds of other troopers. There's just something about this. Maybe it's too lanky, too tall, or I don't know. I mean, I don't hate it. It's another Stormtrooper type character, but it's weird to me. Maybe because there's still mystery to it. Where do they come from? I mean, why are they so feared? Are they bred? Are they manufactured? What's going on here? But getting another chance at this figure is not a bad thing. Again, troop builder. But it is essentially complete reissue of the first version. The new one's belt buckle may be painted a bit cleaner with the silver on black, but that could be just luck of the draw. When I first looked at it in the package, though, I thought the eyes were a lot deeper green the first time around, but they're not. This is the same shade. I could have swore the lenses matched the drapes. Where am I going? But it was the import companies that gave us more of a deeper green. Like I said, just the same figure, which is not bad. Out of all the Death Troopers I got, this is the most playable one. This is the one you want to just toss around and mess with and get blown up on Scarif. I don't know who had it first, but the shoulder pads are glued down at the bottom, so when you raise the arms up, they get out of the way, or you bunch them all to hell. Get out of there. There you go. Rides up on the shoulder. I wish they had taken this opportunity to actually paint these gray or silver like they're supposed to be, though. All the imports got it correct. Of course, all the imports came out later. They could have changed it up. They could have tweaked that. They also could have upped the value a little bit by giving us the Specialist that was only available in a 3-pack with Cassian and Jyn. You remember that? It sat at Target for a while. I got mine for like 17 bucks, so I have a couple of these. But really, all it is this overlay torso piece that could be removed. You pop the head, you pull this off or cut it off or whatever you want to do, and you have this figure. So getting this extra gear would have been cool. It would have given options to this. You want to army build some specialists? You can do that. You want to troop build some standard Death Troopers? You have that. But this is what we got. No use crying over spilt blue milk. There's your hinge, ball going up into the head, can look up, can look down, little bitty tilt, swivel. Like I showed the hinge at the shoulder pad gets out of the way. Oh, it actually goes up to there. Rotates all the way around. Hinge and swivel at the elbow, comes up slightly past 90, rotates. Swivel at the wrist. Trigger finger hand is hinged side to side. This was before they got a grasp on that situation. Ball joint at the torso, because of the thinness, does get pretty good range. Ball coming out to the hip, goes forward, back, out. Ooh, not bad. Swivel at the thigh, hidden nicely behind the armor coming up and around. Double knee, what do we got going? Oh, yeah, you can kick his ass a little bit. Better kick and pouch. Hinge at the ankle goes, way back. Forward, not so much. It runs into the armor. Forward-facing pin for rocker. For accessories, comes with this rifle. Nice sculpt to it. And more paint apps than I thought when I first looked at it. There's silver on the tip. Silver right there. A little bit of red. It's an odd color against the rest of the body, but that's okay. It stands out. Push and twist, and then he holds it good. Get on there, other hand. Yeah. But then there's also this pistol. Same matching color. Not a lot of paint to it. Well, I don't think there's any paint to it. But it works in the realm of the Death Trooper. I have never figured out how the hell this goes in here. I usually just thread the scope through, let it hang down. It seems awful cheap. And I'm not talking about Hasbro, I'm talking about the Empire. All this armor, all this training, all this badassedness, and they give them a loop to hold their pistol. I'm sure that falls out more often than not. The Death Trooper stands at 6 3/8 inches tall, which is a good size next to your Krennics or your Thrawns. And then your Black Series Stormtroopers, old and new. But then there's the import offerings when it comes to the Death Trooper. The Metacom Mafex, the Bandai model kit. But I skipped on the SH Figure Arts Death Troopers, both the Specialist and the regular, because at the time it seemed Bandai was just making them smaller. But if I had a choice to troop build, it would be Mafex. They bulked up the tall, thin frame just slightly, and it gives it more of a badass look. helicopter you pick now to fly on over. Mafex also gave us the option for both specialist and standard in the same box, but you're paying a way higher price too. The Archives Edition's the way to go if you're going to fill out troops. Next up, even though we don't have a hover tank to drive, there is the hover tank driver. No, I got it. How about this? We go through here, right? Remember, always cut away from yourself. Did I just put a hole in my blue? Perfect. Oh, come here. Pristine on front. Yeah, now we're getting back around to what I like when it comes to a Stormtrooper type character. And I don't mean just the white. I mean how the armor lays, how it's set up, how there is some pants sticking out. There's some wrinkles, there's some softness to it. It's a nice contrast. Plus, this guy can sit down. A lot of the other troopers, they're stuck standing. The tank driver helmet isn't my favorite, but it's useful, especially when you get to Mandalorian Season 2 and it's in a different color. Put this on a Mud Trooper body, you get some Din Djarin in disguise, some Mayfeld in disguise. Hopefully this is a sign that they're warming up this mold again to give us the Din Djarin, the Mayfeld. But I just like all the details and how you can see them on this color. Plus there's a grittiness, a dirtiness, a dinginess that makes me think Star Wars. The original trilogy, Rogue One, Mandalorian, that grunge, that dirtiness. It's asymmetrical. It's not as noticeable as some other designs, but it is cool. There's also a different color to the fabric of the shoes compared to the armor pieces. The silver on the buckles coming up and around, holding the chest piece on, the design work on the abs, the armor plates over the shoulders, again glued down low, so it will flip up when you bring the arm up. Some lines on the undershirt or whatever goes under the armor. It protects you from pinching more than likely. I'm sure with this much armor on, you move around, it's ow, pinch, oh, god dang it, that's gonna be a blister. Oh, do have some looseness to the right arm though at the elbow. It's not enough for it to just flop down, but it's definitely looser than the left. Then there's that undershirt look at the neck too. Comparing to the old tank driver, the first one we got in Black Series, it's the same sculpt, head to toe. But the dirtiness has been amped up a bit. It's almost in the same places. It's extended further and it's kind of darker. There's more griminess to the belt. The old one was cleaner. There's a lot more built up to the grooves here on the chest, and then especially on the helmet right here. This is the guy that sticks his head up out of the hover tank as it's moving along, and it just... It's not as cookie cutter as the Remnant Stormtroopers we got, where the dirt is in the exact same spots, the exact same heaviness. This makes me want to put them beside each other more. For articulation, it's the same on most of these. The hinge at the neck, ball going up into the head, can look up, can look down. More tilt than you would think. Swivel, hinge at the shoulder goes up. Oh, gotta watch out for bunching that around. That kind of sucked. Rotates all the way around. Hinge swivel at the elbow. Armor runs into each other, so it only goes about 90. Swivel at the wrist, but look at that. Hinge up and down on a trigger finger hand. They'd come to grips with it by then. Ball joint mid-torso, and this does an excellent job of crunching forward for an armored character. But then you got back, you got some tilt, you got some rotation. Ball coming out to the hip. This belt piece is rubbery, gets up and out of the way, so ba-boom. Back, out. He may have up and down wrist for a trigger finger hand, but he's got jack shit for out. Swivel at the thigh just to cut straight across. Double knee goes up to... Oh, nope, the pantaloons get in the way there. Hinge at the ankle goes way back, goes forward facing pin for rocker. For accessories, Stormtrooper blaster. It's what we're used to seeing when it comes to, you know, Stormtroopers. Push and twist. Not bad at all. Size-wise, the tank driver stands at about 6, well, pretty much dead on, 6 inches tall, which totally works next to the Black Series Rogue One Chirrut and Baze, while still looking good next to the Black Series Old School Stormtrooper and New School. Again, I didn't get the Figure Arts version of this character, but they gave us the Commander. I wish, again, Hasbro would have taken this opportunity to give us a slightly different version, but then that wouldn't be as much of a troop builder, I guess. And I'd also like a Commander, too. So, which direction am I going here? Because we're going to run into that same conundrum with the Shoretrooper. I'm running out of ways to open this, boys. Yeah, like that, maybe. Give me my toy. And I think I've said it before, this is my favorite Stormtrooper design, directly behind the good old original trilogy classic Stormtrooper. You have some armor coming around and protecting your arms, protecting your chest. You have these flappies hanging down, depending on the rank, and we'll get to that here in a second. But you can still sit down. There's pants. You may get shot in the thigh and die, but, well, you can get shot in the armor and die in Star Wars. It doesn't really matter, but I like the contrasting look. In fact, does this use most of the same parts. Have I realized this before? Is this the same body, just with a different helmet? Well, in a different belt piece? I think it is. Maybe I have noticed that before, and it's been so long since I've looked at Rogue One toys. That's all the same sculpt. And the helmets are close, but I like the bigger visor on the Shoretrooper. It seems like if you were wearing this, you'd have a better field of view than your standard stormtroopers, your death troopers, your tank drivers. If I were to wear a helmet, it would be this one. And I guess the mouthpiece is kind of reminiscent of the Biker Scout, huh? It's just a sleek, slick design. Missing a little bit of paint on the brown coming down right there. But this also takes the grunginess to the next level. Not just the dirt application, but the color itself. It's kind of an ugly color, but it works for this overall design with the darker browns playing off of it, and then just points sticking out like this white stripe, totally clean coming across, and then the red and yellow over here. Your eye sees it, but it's not drawn to just that one point. Comparing to the Scarif Trooper we've gotten before, again, all the same sculpt, same weapon, same look, same version. They're both the grunt. And the dirtiness is in the same place, but they changed it up again. On the torso, the new one is actually a little lighter on these grooves running down. It's heavier on the old, but it's the reverse on the grooves on the helmet. There's some smears, like 1, 2, 3, right here. Completely different pattern on the new one. The white stripe is dirty on the old one. Down at the legs seems the same, though. Like it's actually applied with a machine. Like the tank driver, I can take both these figures, stand them next to each other, and they don't look like a mirror image of the same dude. Black Series did give us a squad leader though, and it's just slightly different with the yellow and the blue running across the torso, the blue on top of the shoulder pads, and then the comma hanging down from the belt. This guy running this squad, and you bring this in here, that looks good. Again, Hasbro could have given us the captain, which we never got in Black Series. In fact, the only captain we got was SH Figure Arts. But again, that wouldn't be a troop builder. That would be a specific rank, and I'm starting to think that this whole archive wave is specifically for troop building. Going over articulation, hinge, ball, looking up, looking down. Again, more tilt than I expected, or than I remembered from the first time I reviewed this thing 3 or 4 years ago. Swivel, shoulder pad glued at the bottom, hinges up past 90, swivels around. I went to do this, and I realized this one's slightly loose too compared to the left. And I thought, oh, well, I've already talked about that. I've also already went over this whole thing just a minute ago when I did the articulation on the tank driver. They have the same loose right elbows. Speeding through the rest of it because we just did this nice crunch. These do get in the way, especially this side because it's got the extra thickness of these pouches. Can be forced up though. Back out sucks. No. We even get the same gun as the tank driver, but there are silver marks all over it, I guess to show some wear or something. The tank driver blaster didn't have that, which is a good way to differentiate them in case you mix them up. This is the Shoretrooper, this is the tank driver. Do the old push and twist. Again, exact same body, so the Shoretrooper stands at pretty much exactly 6 inches tall to the top of the helmet too. Does look good next to the Black Series Beskar Mando or the Rogue One Cassian Andor, or your Black Series old Stormtrooper, new Stormtrooper. And it holds up next to the imports like the Metacom Mafex Shoretrooper or the Bandai model kit. I have a couple of these kits. The next one I build, whenever that may be, is going to be the captain, so I can have one of those in the display. And like the Death Trooper, the Mafex Shoretrooper had the options to be either a grunt or squad leader. If I had my way and millions of dollars, I would troop build the Mafex. But at 20 some odd dollars a pop, this will do just fine. And then here's a comparison of the whole wave. The Death Trooper is taller. Tusken Raider is shorter. Well, I don't know. He's not too much shorter. These two share the body, so they're the same size. So at the end of the day, just a good troop building wave. Have I said troop building enough? Because that's what it essentially is. It's not part of the main line, so you can pass it on by if you're not interested. But for people who are just jumping in and want some older Stormtroopers, Shoretroopers, Tank Driver, Death Trooper, Tusken Raider, whatever, they can get those now easily. Or if you did get them the first time around and you're just wanting to add to the ranks, this is for you too. Honestly, I was skipping the wave, but then I got the box from Hasbro and I'm looking at it, and this has almost convinced me that I need a couple of more Shoretroopers. Not so much a Tank Driver, I need a tank for the tank driver, right? But I'm happy to have 2 of them now beside each other. Tusken Raiders, as many as I can get. I'll fill up a shelf. And then Death Troopers, again, not my favorite, but I don't mind them standing behind characters all menacingly out of the shadows. And when I first looked at them, I thought, man, they're bringing back some Rogue One characters. But really, I can take these and put them on my Mandalorian shelf. There's a whole episode with Shore Troopers all running around a base, Din Djarin and Mayfeld trying to get in. The Death Trooper, put him with Moff Gideon, or if you're more of a Rebels fan, put him with Grand Admiral Thrawn. The Tusken Raider, Season 2, Episode 1 of The Mandalorian, a big part of the storyline. Tank Driver, not so much. Again, the helmet in a different color is what Mayfeld wore when he drove right into the Imperial base. It wouldn't surprise me to see it in the Mandalorian. I have no problem putting it in the Mandalorian shelf. It fits that universe. So it's troop builders for an older movie that also fits into newer media. And so it's very well timed. We've been wanting Mandalorian characters. Hasbro kind of slipped these under the door. Hey, these are Mandalorian. You can add these to that shelf. Plus, I just love Troopers and Tuskens. What can I say? If you enjoyed the review, comment, like, subscribe. Much love to the Plus. If you're interested in seeing videos early or just in a position to help out the channel, patreon.com. But wherever you may be watching this, I'll always catch you on the whoosh. I did have a Tusken without the robe on to show, but I turned that into a Sherrod Het. Just good looking troopers. And at first glance, it seems kind of an easy wave to do, but an easy wave is still an easy display.